All right. Shalom. 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 First and foremost, I do want to say call Yahweh. Soon Washiach Yahushai. That's all praise to the Most High in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Right, Salakia for tardiness. How y'all feeling tonight? Before we get into Genesis 1, how y'all brothers and sisters feeling tonight? Y'all doing all right? Shalom, shalom. I'm doing a-okay. Doing a-okay. Oh, the brother Austin building? Yeah, I gotta go check out Sicarii, New Jersey, New York. They're going crazy. Right? So let's do this. Hopefully y'all got y'all pen and paper. Hopefully y'all got y'all pen and paper. All right. So who knows? Of course we have this Genesis 1. Who knows the verse that speaks about the literal beginning, like the very beginning? Right? It might be a rhetorical question, maybe not. Who knows the verse that speaks about the literal beginning, the very beginning of creation? Sounds like cats are fighting outside. Who knows? Yeah, it's John 1. Right? Some people think that Genesis 1 is literal the beginning of creation. The more we read, we'll get an understanding of why that is not. John 1 and 1 is the beginning. One second. Okay. But yeah, John 1 is the literal beginning, right? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. Because we believe, well, the Bible says that Christ was created, but then it says that Christ created everything else. All right, let's just do that. Right, Colossians 1 and 15. Right, you can also use Hebrews 1. That speaks about it, so on and so forth. But Colossians 1 and 15 it says, "Who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature? For by him, which is Christ, were all things created that are in heaven, that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions, principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him." All right, so true, Christ did create all things outside of himself. I forgot to share the live myself. All right, as we take a moment, as I share the live, make sure that y'all share the live as well. Shalom, Robert. What's the word, player? What is the word? Okay. So we see that Christ created everything outside of himself because he's the firstborn of every creature. Right. And you also have something like John 5. John 5 and 26. Yeah, John 5 and 26. It says, "For as the Father has life in himself, so has he given to the Son to have life in himself." Right. So the Son at one point didn't have life until the Father had given it to him. Showing you that he created the Son. Now, does the life of the Father live in everything? Of course, but only he created Christ, and then Christ was utilized to create everything else. Right. So the literal beginning isn't Genesis 1. When we read verse 2, it'll tell us why. But Genesis or John 1 and 1 is that beginning. All right. Hopefully y'all understand. All right. So Genesis 1 and 1. It says, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth." So maybe somebody will say, "Oh, this is the beginning of time. Day one, as in before everything." When you go into that word for beginning, right, Strong's H7225, and it means first, beginning, best, chief, right? It says the first in time, place, order, or rank, especially of first fruit, beginning, chief, or chiefest, first or first fruits, part-time, principal thing. All right, so chiefest, right? It says God, which is the word Elohim, which is something that is plural, right? This word for God isn't just utilized for one, right? It can sometimes, but most of the time it's plural, right? Let me show you how. It is the same word used in Psalms 82 and 6. Let me just show y'all. Right, this is Psalms 82 and 6. Right, and what's in Psalms 82 and 6? "For I have said that ye are gods." So this word is used for the children of Israel, right? You also have, let me just do this. Just show y'all. Boom. I've said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. So the word for gods, because some people say God. God did it, singular God. No. Oh. This word for God is alayim, which is plural for gods, right? Rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, godlike one, right? See the angels, gods, God or gods, not goddesses, clearly, right? So it says in the beginning, the chief, like the chiefest, God or Christ and the angels created, right? That word created is a verb and it means to create, shape, form of something new, to cut down, to cut out. It says select, feed, choose, create, creator, cut down, dispatch, do, make, fat, right? So to cut, carve, shape, mold, create, so on and so forth. Right, so locking. Give me 1 second. So it says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Right? What this is speaking about so far is that you had something and Christ and the angels begin to cut, to carve, to like or design, form the earth. Right? How do we know that it's not speaking about them literally building the earth? Like the the object, the earth, because the second verse, I'm just going to show you. It says, and the earth was without form. So the earth was there, it just had no form, and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So the earth was there, it just wasn't carved, or I don't want to say created. It just wasn't cut out, shaped, or formed. But it was there. It just had no form and it was void. Right? So Genesis 1:1 is basically saying the chiefest of the creation, God carved, or God, not God, Christ and the angels carved out heaven and the earth. Right? It says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Because think about it. Most of us travel, right? Most of us have been on a road trip. Most of us have drove from state to state. And so you come across let me see if I can pull it up. So like for me, when I drive to and from Vegas, I pass through mountains, of course, and I begin to look at these mountains, and it's almost obvious that something was carving the mountains. It just looks too structured to just, you feel me? Now of course, does it look all, I'm gonna just show y'all. Y'all see the images. I'm not talking about this. Okay, clearly somebody did that. But stuff like this one, right? How how did that happen? If it just happened, right? It almost looks like one big rock that was cut into a whole bunch of different rocks, right? I'm trying to show y'all. Let me see, like stuff like this. It almost looks like somebody purposely cut and designed these rocks. Of course, it wasn't like make it into this object and shape it to where it looks like a man. No, but it does look like somebody was purposely cutting and carving out these rocks. But there's a certain type of like, uh, I mean, I don't know if that's real. I hope y'all get what I'm saying. But there's a certain type of like rock that I be passing. It just looks like somebody had to have done that. You feel me? Kind of like this one. Like it almost is because there's different formations of rocks. Y'all feel me? There's different. You got the sharp rocks, you got the smooth ones. Maybe you got the ones that are tan, and then it goes dark. If y'all ever in Phoenix and you drive to Vegas, you'll know what I'm talking about, right? I'm pretty sure Robert knows what I'm talking about. But as y'all drive, just look at it, right? So if y'all driving to different states, just look at the different rocks and be like, just it makes sense. Like somebody had to have purposely, um, damn, I'm trying to find it. Let me see if I could do this. Hold on. Let me see if I can show y'all. Maybe I'll pull it up in the next one. Um, but yeah, the more that y'all drive around, y'all y'all understand what I'm talking about. But you can also take like the big mountains. You see the big mountains, like we have famous mountains out here. Um, it just don't make sense. How it's just like the big old explosion and it's like boom, like everything's perfect. Like nah, it looked like somebody was cutting and carving that thing out. All right, so that's what's going on in Genesis 1 and 1 through 2. All right, so watch this. Let's go. All right, 17. Acts 17. Because there's like a misunderstanding where people will say God created everything. And then when we say, well, no, Christ and the angels created everything, they'll utilize these verses to try to like disprove us. Let's go. All right, so stuff like this, right? Malachi 2 and 10. Have not we all one Father? Hath not one God created us? Why do we deal treacherously every man against his brother by profaning the covenant of our fathers? Here it says that there was one God who created us. When you read something like Acts 17:24. It says, God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is the Lord of heaven and earth, dwelling not in temples made with hands, right? So speaking about God. Neither is worship with men hands as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things. Here's kind of saying the same thing, that it was only God, the Father, the one who gave us and created us life and created us to walk on earth, right? Why does it say that? Why does it say it like in Acts 17, also in Malachi 2:10? Why is it saying that it was the Father who created us, but then it says that Christ created us and that the Elohim created us? Wouldn't that be a contradiction? Who knows why it says that? I was listening to some Bobby Womack earlier, man. Who knows why it speaks about God was the one who created us all, and not God as in plural, but God as in the Father. Because that is a rebuttal that might come your way. He gave authorization the same way when the president signed. Boom. He basically gets all the credit, right? So, yeah, of course, um, um, when Yahushua or the angels do something, Yahweh gets the credit. It's the same thing. What the hell? It's the same thing like when the angel of the Lord was speaking in the bush to Moses, right? Some people say that that's the literal Lord because it calls him God. Um, the words in which the angel spoke, that was the words of the Father, right? And the Father was utilizing the angels to speak to Moses, or angel, I should say, to speak to Moses. Um, so the words were the Father's, but technically the angel spoke, right? Meaning the Father, like the brother said, he gave the authorization, so the Father gets all the credit, right? Moses doing the signs in Egypt, right? People could say Moses did it. No, the Father did it, right? Well, Moses hit the rock. It was Moses who made the what? No, it was God. Moses made a serpent of brass. Who healed the children of Israel from the serpents? Moses and his uh, brass serpent, or God? God did, right? So it's just the credit is going to the Heavenly Father. Um, yeah. So when we read stuff like Malachi 2:10, yeah, the Father gets the credit, right? Because he's literally the source of everything. We read this last, was it last class? Maybe not have been last class. Wisdom of Solomon 12:1. This is the GNT, but it's all good. It says, your immortal spirit is in every one of them. I like the KJ. You blind. Whatever. Hold on. Wisdom of Solomon 12:1. Right? It says, for your incorruptible spirit is in all things. Right? And we see that all throughout the scriptures, how the spirit of the Lord is in all things, which is true. Because without the spirit of the Father, nothing will be able to live. Right? You always have to have the spirit of the Father. So going back in Genesis 1:1, it says, in the beginning, in the chief creation, God carved out, cut out, shaped the heaven and the earth, right? Christ and the angels. Verse 2, and the earth was without form and void, meaning there was nothing, there was no, it was just a big old slab of dirt or rock, right? Like matter. Right? And so look at this, right? Matter just simply means in classical physics and general chemistry, matter is any substance that has mass and takes up space by having volume, right? That's what it was, right? What is simple definition for matter? Anything that takes up space and can be weighed. Right? That's what it is. Let's see if solid, liquid, gas, solid. Right? So that's what's going on, right? You have this big old piece of matter, but then it speaks about, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. This is just speaking about it being covered in water. Because there's 3 chapters that speak about the creation story. 2nd Ezra 6, Genesis 1, and Psalms 104. All 3 of those chapters speak about creation. Psalms 104 is a little bit more complicated, just the way that it's worded, than 2nd Ezra 6 and Genesis 1. But Psalms 104, right, started at starting at 1. It says, bless Yahweh, O my soul, O Yahweh my God, you are very great, you are clothed with honor and majesty, who coverest thyself with light as with a garment, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, who laid the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers a flaming fire. Right, so let's see if the winds, his angels, his spirits, who makes winds his messenger, flames of fire. Right? But you get the point, right? Angels and spirits. Verse 5, it says, who laid the foundations of the earth? The foundations of the earth was laid, that it should not be removed forever, which is true, right? And this is how we know that the earth is, the scientific definition is geocentrism. The other one is heliocentrism. All right, and what does that mean? I'm jumping the gun, but it's all good. Geocentrism. Right, geocentrism is the astronomical theory that the Earth is at the center of the universe, with the sun, moon, stars, and planets orbiting it. Meaning you have the Earth, and then the sun, moon, and stars orbit the Earth. Heliocentrism. Let me see if I can spell this right. Okay, cool. Heliocentric theory, I guess. The heliocentric theory, also known as the heliocentric model, the astronomical model that places the sun at the center of the solar system and the universe, with the Earth and other planets revolving around it, right? So we believe in geocentrism. The Earth is the center, and the sun, moon, and stars are orbiting the Earth, not heliocentrism, where the sun is the center and the Earth, moon, and stars are orbiting the sun. We don't believe that, right? And we're going to give precepts in a second, but Psalms 105 is the beginning, right? Who laid the foundations of the earth, that it should not be removed forever, right? It's there, it's staying there, right? Thou coverest it with the deep as with the garments. Similar to Genesis 1, where it says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And here you see Psalms 104:6, thou coverest with the deep as with a garment, the waters stood above the mountains. So at one point, everything was covered in water. The whole thing was covered in water, right? The mountains, like Mount Everest, underwater. Everything was underwater, right? Is that impossible? No, because we have something like Noah, right? So it's not something that is impossible, and it's not something that it's like, well, how does it make sense that the waters were over everything, but then all of a sudden, like, they just went away? Where'd they go? Same thing as the time of Noah. They just went into their sections, right? They went into big old puddles and big old lakes and rivers, right? So at one point, the earth was covered in nothing but water, right? Now, Psalms 104:7, it says, at your rebuke they fled, at the voice of your thunder they hasted away, right? We're not here in Genesis 1 yet, but that just goes to show that they were covered, the mountains were covered, and then when Yahweh rebuked them, boom, they fled, right? They went into their own sections, right? Of course, all the credit goes back to Yahweh. So I know we been on this motherfucker for like 30 minutes, but it's all good, right? So it says, the chiefest in the beginning, Christ and the angels carved out the heaven and the earth, and the earth was without form and void. It was just a big old piece of matter. Let's go into the word without form, right? Formlessness, confusion, unreality, emptiness, which is empty, real, wasteland, wilderness, place of chaos, vanity, right? Without form, nothing, not vanity, waste, wilderness, a worthless, vain, confusion, empty place, desert. It was just there, right? They described West Africa before we lived there the same thing. It's just a wilderness, uninhabitable, uncultivated, but then we begin to grow empires there. So it's the same thing. And it says, and void, right? Simply meaning undistinguishably ruined, emptiness, void. I mean, that's pretty simple. Right? So everybody understand verse 1 and 2 so far? 1 and 2 is probably like the, then once we get over 1 and 2, we get rolling, smooth. We in business. I don't know. Everybody understand so far? The chiefest. So basically, it's like chiefly in the beginning, the angels carved out heaven and earth. Right? That's the whole Genesis 1 and 2. Or 1 and 1. Praise Shalom, family. The word. Okay. So let's take a look at second Ezra 6. because this speaks about perfect work. So on the first day it said, let heaven and earth be made, and that word was made perfect, and then it was the spirit. Okay, boom. So 2nd Ezra 6 and 38, because mind you, again, the 3 chapters that speak about creation, the 2nd Ezra 6, Psalms 104, and Genesis 1, right? It says, and I said, O Lord, thou spakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day, and saidest thus, let heaven and earth be made, and your word was made perfect. And then was the spirit, and darkness and silence were on every side. The sounds of man's voice was not yet formed. Then commandest thou fair light to come forth of thy treasures, that thy work might appear. All right, we're going to get into that in a second. Right? But just showing that darkness and silence on every side. Let's go back to Genesis 1. Right? Genesis 1 and 3. Same day. It says, and God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God said that Lord in Christ, God saw that the light was good. God saw that, Lord, and God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. What light will this be speaking about? It can't be the sun, because the 4th day is when we got the sun and the moon. So it can't be the sun. So what light was created on the first day? Who knows? And what does it mean when it said that he called the light day and the darkness night? God said, let there be light. There was light. It's a scientific part. Let me bring it up. It's called, let me pull it up. It's a big old word, right? Bioluminescence or biochemiluminescence. All right, I'm gonna allow y'all to write that down because that is the scientific word for what it's called. Now, this chemiluminescence, Lord of Christ, y'all know what I'm saying. Is like when you're in waters and you move the waters and it shines that like baby blue. I'm gonna show y'all pictures. But that's what it is. Right now, this is something that usually happens in water. Right? It rarely, let's do this. Water. It rarely happens on land though. Rarely happens on land. Right? Let's go here. Let's read a little bit about this. Fireflies have it. Right, which is beautiful. The emission of light chemiluminescence reaction to living organisms. In most cases, the principle. All right, it's just this glow. It's just this glow that gives off with certain chemicals. All right, let's do the images. like this. This will be the the bioluminescence. Right? This is what it'll look like. Right now, I would love to see that in person. But it mostly happens underwater. It's rare that it happens on Earth. Usually when it happens on Earth, it's something like a firefly. I don't know what this is. But it's rare. You don't just walk around and you see it. But this happens a lot underwater. Right? Sometimes we're capable of seeing it on surface, sometimes it's not. But it does happen a lot. Right? It's more common underwater. But remember, the whole Earth was covered in water. So that makes sense. Because if bioluminescence happens mostly underwater and the whole Earth was covered underwater, it would make sense how that would be their light. Now, what does it mean when it says the morning? Where is it at? Oh, and the evening and the morning were the first day. What does he mean by that? Well, we know that in 2 Peter 3:8 it says, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day." Meaning 1,000 years for us is just one day for him. Now, we get our days from the sun and the moon. So if there was no sun and the moon, that means it would solely operating off of the time of Yahweh. So one day of this creation would be 1,000 years of our time, right? It's the same thing how we got dog years, right? We have 1 year for us, but it's a completely different time frame for dog years, right? Their time is a lot more different. So when there was no sun and moon, it was solely operating off of the time of Yahweh. So the evening and the morning, 500 years, 500 years, 1,000 years, right? 500 years for the evening, 500 years for the morning, right? Or morning, evening, vice versa. Right? So we can get another one. So, Psalms, it's just going to take me straight to it. Psalms 90:4. For 1,000 years in your sight are but as yesterday when it is past, and as a watch in the night. All right, so 1,000 years for us is just like yesterday for Yahweh. And that happened yesterday. So technically, Christ died 2 days ago for him. That's why, the Lord being so furious is because it's like it just happened yesterday. You feel me? For us, it happened 2,000 years ago. But for him, it's like y'all just did this yesterday, right? So, hopefully y'all get that. So, now watch this. This is interesting, right? Because that's the first day. The first day, the only thing that happened is Christ and the angels begin to carve out earth and heaven. And there was this light that was formulated under this water. Right, now watch this. Right, so that was the first day. Verses 1-5, first day. Verse 6, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So he said, boom, now I'm going to make a firmament, and I'm going to divide the waters from the waters. Now watch this, verse 7. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. We was talking about this last night after camp. It was funny. I was listening. It was like, it was a funny conversation. So this firmament was made to divide the waters from the waters. This is to separate how we have our firmament and then the waters that are above the firmament, right? Before we get to Yahweh, there's them waters. So before day 2, there was no firmament, meaning to get from earth to heaven, you could just go straight up, no problem. Maybe you can even see where Yahweh was sitting at. I don't know. I don't remember being there, so I don't know what it looks like. But it is interesting that at one point there was no firmament over us. Now, let's go into the firmament, right? So it says, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, right? This word for firmament is beautiful, right? It says extended surface, solid, expanse, firmament, expansion, right? Flat as base, support, firmament of vault of heaven, supported waters above, right? But watch the Strong's definition. The firmament, apparently a visible arc of the sky, right? So the firmament is a visible arc of the sky. Let's do this. Boom. Here he is. Right. So let's go down here. Let's read the Hebrew Chaldee lexicon. Right. So it says the firmament of heaven spread out like a hemisphere above the earth from the root. I believe that's Rakoya. Maybe like a splendid and pellucid sapphire, right? To which stars were supposed to be fixed, and over which the Hebrews believed there were a heavenly ocean, right? What I just said. You have Earth. I'm trying to see if I have something that matches it. I do, but it's way over there. Not getting up, right? So you have Earth, you have an arc over the earth, and then you have the waters that are above it, or the firmament over the earth, and you have waters above it, right? But here's what's interesting. Let's take a look at the word arc. All right. And we're not going to forget the hemisphere. Right. So this is an arc. Because remember, let me just go back. It says a visible arc of the sky. So you come over here and we take a look at an arc. And this is what an arc is. Right. It's like what it said in the Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, which is a hemisphere. All right, let me zoom in for y'all. The firmament of heaven spread out like a hemisphere above the earth, right? This would be a hemisphere. Half a circle, half a sphere, right? That's why it got its name. Hemisphere, right? You have the split, boom. The northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere. This is saying that the firmament is like a hemisphere, which means this is all the earth, and then this is the sky and the ocean, right? The conversation last night was hilarious. I was just sitting back laughing. Man, brotherhood is so beautiful. So watch this though. Let me show y'all something. Boom. Because would it be a circle? Yes, it'll be a circle. Right? When you look down, of course, it'll be a circle or oval, whatever have you. It's circular. But does that mean it's a sphere? No, because there's no. What is the top of a sphere, and how can we have a hemisphere as a firmament if it's completely round? All right, but watch this. Isaiah 40 and 21. It says, have you not known? Have you not heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood the foundations of the earth? It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof is like grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a court, and spreads them out as a tent to dwell in. How can Yahweh sit on the top of a sphere? Let's take a look at a sphere. All right, so boom, This is a sphere. Where's the top? How can we have the, is this the top or is this the top? Which, it's literally everywhere you go would be a top, right? So but if we have a half a sphere, yeah, that's half a sphere, but that looks weird. Like this one, right? The blue would be the base. This is the half a sphere. Him sitting on top would be right here, no question, right? This wouldn't be the top. This wouldn't be the top. This wouldn't be the top. This will be the top, right? So in Isaiah 40 and 22, it says, "It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth," right? Goes well with the hemisphere, right? It being a visible arc in the sky, right? Now let's look at, oh, that's what I want to look at. Watch. So this is Isaiah 40 and 22 again. Let's read a different translation. All right, God sits above the circle of the earth. The people below seem like grasshoppers to him, which is true. He spreads out the heavens like a curtain and makes his tent from them, right? And spreads out them like a tent to dwell in, right? So he puts a tent over them. And we'll take a look at this word tent. It means covering, dwelling place, home, tabernacle, tent. Let's see what the Hebrew Chaldee. Lexicon, movable, portable, habitation of any kind. All right, so it's just a habitation, right? Like a dome. Put a dome over them, right? Like the firmament. Why is it saying? What do I say? Like the firmament. Everybody understand so far? I want to make sure everybody's paying attention, right? Now, of course, Chief Ben talking about doing a whole Genesis 1 thing. Listen, he gonna do it a lot better, right? The brother's just, you know, that's just the Levite. You feel me? But we have the beginning of creation. We have Christ and the angels carving out everything. Then we have the lights being made, which is the bioluminescence. Then we have this firmament that is placed over the earth. Now, do I believe that the earth is literally just flat? No, I don't believe that. There's a word that we have. You can say it's like a globe, like a what people say a snow globe is. She jumping the gun, my boy. You jumping there. You can keep it in there though. Yeah, because I was about to bring that up. I'll read it right now, actually. But like a, what do they call those damn things? Terrarium. Like how people got them big old terrariums. I know that it is proven facts, right? I was watching a video a while ago. I don't know how I started watching this video. I was just watching it. And it was basically showing that if you make a big enough terrarium, why was I watching this? I think I was just in my National Geographic day and I'm trying to just watch these other different things and I stumbled upon it. But if you make a big enough one, it'll create its own little system, its own little ecosystem, right? The mist will go up on the glass and it'll fall down back onto the vegetation. The animals, not the animals, but the insects would eat the vegetation and then it'll just reproduce, right? You had the prey, you had the predators in that ecosystem. Everything was in there, right? Shalom, big brother. If y'all haven't already, that's his name on YouTube. Subscribe to Rob Yawasop, right? He releasing definitely good videos, right? And going live too, right? So that's what we have so far, right? So we have chiefly in the beginning, Christ and the angels created or carved out the earth. Then there was a light that was formulated. Then we have this firmament, right, which is a hemisphere, right, or a visible arc in the sky, right? And we quote that with that Isaiah 40 and 22, where it says that the Lord sits upon the circle of the earth, right? So again, it's not something that's flat. You feel me? I do believe it's jagged, but it's something like a terrarium. I don't like using the word snow globe. I'm not going to cap. I don't like the concept of a snow globe, but for lack of better words, snow globe. Right. So moving forward in Genesis, well, hold on. Let me bring out that Psalms 19. I was going to read it in the does this have the TPT in it? No. Right. I was going to read it in the GNT, but I'll cap the TPT is better. Right. So let's go to Psalms 19:4 in the TPT. Psalms 19. I don't know why I keep taking me to Bing. I don't like Bing. Lord. Right. So boom. Psalms 19:4 in the TPT, it says, yet all the world can hear its echo. Everywhere its message goes. What a heavenly home God has set for the sun, shining in the superdome of the sky. Right. So it's not just the dome, not just the chief dome, but it's a superdome. Oh Lord. But yeah, it's a superdome. It's a big old dome over the earth. Right. Now again, how can there be a top of the earth? Oh Lord, y'all can't even see it. How can there be a top of the earth if it's a big old globe, right? There would be no top, right? As in, like, that's the definite top of the globe. Like, no, everywhere anybody would be the top. So we're gonna go back to that Psalms 19 in a second. Let's go back to Genesis 1. Right? What is this? Oh, let's see what the word is. Right, to beat stamp. Yeah, no, that's cold though. So moving forward, right? We already got this in Psalms 104. Let's read it in. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Oh, Salakia. Well, good. So moving forward, back to Genesis. Oh no, my bad. Second Edge 6. Boom. Second Edge 6. Right. This is the first day. Second Edge 6, 38 to 40. This the second day, right? Second Edge 6 and 41. It says, upon the second day, you made the spirit of the firmament and commanded it to part asunder and to make a division between the waters, that the one part might go up and the other remain beneath. Right? That goes beautifully with Psalms 144 or Psalms 144, Psalms 104, and I'm tripping. It's right here. Psalms 104 and 7. At thy rebuke they fled. So the waters fled because at one point they stood above the mountains. At the rebuke they fled. At the voice of thy thunder they hasted away. They go up by the mountains. They go down by the valleys unto the place which thou hast founded for them. Right? So this is the waters being divided. The same thing in Genesis where we see the waters being divided. Right? Divide the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. Second Esdras 6:41, to part asunder and to make a division between the waters, that one part might go up and the other remain beneath, meaning one is above the firmament, one is below the firmament. Right? Hopefully, y'all understand what's going on. Not that one. Genesis 1, right? And that's the whole second day, right? Genesis 1:9, and God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good, right? So this is what we just read, right? You have the rivers, the lakes, the ponds, the oceans, so on and so forth. God called all of them to go to their own place. This is why they stay there, right? It doesn't matter if there's a tsunami. It's not like, okay, boom, there's a big old tsunami and now the Pacific Ocean is this much bigger. Nah, it's the same size, right? They have their own designated spot. And it's the same thing with land. We have our own designated spots. He's literally dividing everything now. All right, but who said God wasn't about division? He divided. What is it? He divided the earth, his creation. He divided the waters, the insects, the animals. Same thing. He divided heaven and earth. He divided everything, right? So even in the chiefest of his creation, he was dividing things, right? So he used his chiefest creation to divide things, which is Christ. Look at that. So here, I don't think it needs explanation, right? And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so, which is beautiful. The seed is in the fruit of the tree itself, right? So it can properly reproduce. And that's this. Oh, what just happened? And that's this. Wait, y'all was in. I hope y'all was able to see the Genesis 1 slide. It's all good though. But that's the third day in Second Esdras 6:42. It says, upon the third day you commandest that the water should be gathered in the seventh part of the earth. 6 parts has you dried up and kept them to the intent that of these some being planted of God and tilled might serve thee. Right now, the brother on what was it, Friday, tried saying that the earth was man serving God. He tried to use the Second Esdras 10:14. If y'all haven't watched that, Second Esdras 10, I'll read it. I don't even know why I started doing it. I gotta explain it. What was I about to pull up? Oh, Second Esdras. We can get. What do you mean? See, this is why Bible Gateway be weird. Cause I'll be on the website itself. It will never allow me to change the translation on a apocryphal book. But then it'll turn around and have that same apocryphal book when I search it in Google. What are you doing? In Second Esdras 10. I'm just gonna explain Second Esdras 10 really quick. And then we can get back to, because this was his whole point. We can get back to the whole vegetation, right? Second Esdras 10:14, it says, then I say unto you, like as you have brought forth with labor, even so the earth also given her fruit, namely man. He was saying that the earth is man and the fruit is righteousness. No, it says, even so, the fruit, or even so, the earth also has given her fruit. So the earth has its fruit, and the fruit is the man, ever since the beginning unto him that made her. Right? That was the fruit of the earth, which is man. He was saying that the earth is man, and that man is referenced as the earth, and the fruit is the fruit of righteousness. That's what he was saying. And he was trying to utilize the second Ezra 6 and 42, saying that the 6 parts thou dried up in intent that some of these planted of God and tilled might serve thee. This is the planted is the earth, which is man, and the serving is the fruit, which is, that's not what's talking about. But this is speaking about vegetation. Now I'm trying to pull it up in a different translation. What? Oh, that's okay, cool. Right. So it says, this is, what translation is this? The NRSVUE. Says, on the third day you commanded the waters to be gathered together in the seventh part of the earth. 6 parts you dried up and kept, so that some of them might be planted and cultivated and be of service before you. Meaning it has oh yeah, if y'all want to and it's on your heart, donate to SICARRI Phoenix, $, all caps, SICARRI Phoenix on Cash App. But the being of service is doing its duty, right? You have land that is extremely fruitful and tropical, like the Fertile Crescent, and it has its duty. It brings purpose to God because it feeds the people. Then you have some old uncultivated land that grows nothing, right? Like where the Canaanites will dwell. It grows nothing. That's just nothing but dirt. It's poor land. How is that service unto the Lord? No, this dry land, uncultivated, not uncultivated, but uninhabitable. And then you have fruitful land, which is habitable. He's dividing the land. One land has no use for it. The other land has extreme profitable use, which is feeding the children of Israel. Yahweh was beautiful, man. He has set one against the other. Right? So, is that all I wanted on the third day? Oh, no, we got to keep reading. Right? So, we see that everything is divided. The earth is bringing forth the grass, the trees, the seeds, so on and so forth. Right? Do I want to go into that? Do I want to go into that? No. Let's keep reading 2 Ezra 6. 2 Ezra 6 and 43. It says, for as soon as thy word went forth, the work was made. So the word went forth and the work was made. Like Yahweh said, boom, do this. And then Christ and the angels did it. Verse 44. For immediately there was a great and innumerable fruit, and many and diverse pleasures for the taste, and flowers of unchangeable colors, and odors of wonderful smell. And this was done the third day. Vegetation was made the third day. Right? So, first day, we have chiefly Christ and the angels carving out the earth, and that bioluminescence was made, right? That first light. Second, we have the firmament to divide the waters from the waters. The third day, the third day is when dry land begins to appear, right? Let me just show y'all. This is the end of the second day. Verse 9 is the third day. Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. So before the third day, the whole earth was covered under water. It wasn't until the third day that the waters began to recede and the earth began to be shown. So the third day, we have earth being shown and vegetation beginning to arise. Now, there's a lot of right now. Let's take a look at this. There's two ways that this can go, right? There are abundant of sea aquatic life, the bones and the fossils of aquatic life that are found in mountains that it takes us hours to climb, right? How is that so? Well, two things. One, the beginning of creation. Two, Noah. Both times the earth was covered in water, right? But it is true. Let's see if we can find some images, right? You have these in top of the mountains, right? Shell reef, right? These are all in mountaintops. Well, I wouldn't say all of them because I don't know where all of these were taken. Giant shells in Peru. I would have to look at that. I don't know what that is. Right, but it's not common as in every single mountain. Well, it might be. But there are shells, seashells that are found and bones of fishes that are found in mountaintops. Right, so they can provide evidence that the mountains were once underwater. Tectonic plates, uplifting. Yeah, I get the point. Right. So, any questions so far? How about that, man? How about that? Any questions so far? You know what's been on my mind lately? Stock, Passover. Passover. I can't wait, bro. What you need for your car? But damn motor, power steering fluid. All right. Any questions? Any comments? Any concerns? Yeah, I don't understand, man. I was listening to some oldies earlier. Oh my god, bro. Start listening if you knew nothing about it. Break up to make up. What? I was born in the wrong era, man. All right, so I'm not seeing no questions. So let's move forward. Right, so moving forward now, if y'all haven't already, I'm gonna tell y'all again. I ain't gonna tell you after this. I'm just playing. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the new channel, Ties of Rock, SICARRI, as I said, and we'll stand by it. Videos will begin to release later this week. This is my eye. Later this week. So make sure that y'all go subscribe to that channel, BAJA, and share it. You can share it on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Doesn't matter. You can make posts on YouTube, though, by the way. So make sure that we got Peru in the building. Shalom. Can y'all see me? All right. Oh, praise. Make sure y'all go check out SACARRI Peru. All right. So Genesis 1. Right, we got all this. We got the vegetation on the third day, right? And the evening and the morning was the third day, right? 14. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Right? We're going to continue to speak about how the earth looks outside the firmament. Is it a globe? How does the sun and the moon operate? Because again, who remembers? We went over it. There's the definition. Who remembers what we believe in? Concerning what orbits what. What is the scientific definition? There's a scientific definition that says the earth orbits the sun and the sun orbits the earth. Who knows? Who remembers? Don't look it up. You can't look it up. Who remembers the definition? If you misspell it, it's all good. But don't look it up. And don't look at your notes either. If you looked at your notes, don't cheat. We talking about off the firmament, off the dome. That is funny. Off the firmament. Geocentrism. That's what it's called. Geocentrism. Ash is on point. Geocentrism is where the sun, the moon, and the stars orbit the earth, right? They revolve around the earth. Heliocentrism is where the earth orbits the earth, the moon, and the stars orbit around the sun. All right, we don't believe that. We believe the scientific definition is geocentrism, right? So, verse 14, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the night, or to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, for seasons, and for days and years. What does this show us? This shows us that the sun, the moon, and the stars are in the firmament, right? Because remember, make sure y'all go, hold on. Now, it's only my duty, because I really do love this brother. This brother put in so much work. And I got my jacket coming in. As soon as I get my jacket coming in, oh yeah, y'all gonna see it on these lives, right? But make sure that y'all go follow Whacked Out Everything, right? The brother Bazark out of Long Beach, LBC, all this is his, right? All these, his designs outside of the the Wise and Harmless. That's Gazal the Zealot, right? But you can also look him up, Wise and Harmless, on Instagram as well, and order from him. But yeah, this is the brother Bazark, right? If you in SICARRI, you need a SICARRI shirt, I got one. I got an embroidery. Mine's look like this though. Feel me? Because that's tough. I be walking around in Arizona, these white people be looking at me crazy. Yeah, I stand on it. I'm waiting for my new one. My new one gonna go dumb. All right, but yeah, this the brother clothing. All right, so make sure y'all go check him out. Go support your brother. If you could buy them $200 shoes, if you could buy a PS5, if you could buy a 70-inch TV, you could help this brother with clothing, right, and be a light. Right, so moving forward, right, you have the firmament. Now remember, when we looked up the word for firmament, nigga with a big ass head, I'm gonna say you got big ass firmament, nigga. When we look at the firmament in Gesenius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, it said the firmament of heaven spread out like a hemisphere above the earth. But when we read down, it said to which the stars were supposed to be fixed, and over which the Hebrews believed there was a heavenly ocean. So the stars, the sun, the moon, and the stars were fixed in this firmament. Because remember, what did we read in verse 14? What did it say? And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven. Right? Watch this. This is why they can't reach. You can't go past the firmament. They cannot go past the firmament. If you can't go past the firmament and the sun and the moon were in the firmament, well, then you will be able to go in the moon or on the moon. So if you have, damn, I do need it. I can use this. If this is the firmament, right? Let me help you out. If this is the firmament, hold on, give me 1 second. Let me get something to help y'all. My bad, y'all. I need a circle. Damn, I ain't got nothing to circle. Okay, boom. I got y'all. Don't trip. Don't trip. I got you. So this is my microphone. But say this is the firmament. This don't even work. Say this little piece is the firmament. Damn, that don't work. I'm just gonna use this. Whatever. We improvising, right? Like when Jacob took the blessing from Esau, we improvising. So this is the firmament, right? I don't like this. You know what? My dumbass. I literally can just look it up. Goofy, Tyler, right? You're goofy. It's all good. Let's take a look at this. So, where's the half circle? Give me a half. Y'all can't just. Okay, boom. This one works. So with this one, right? This is the firmament, right? Boom. You got the firmament like this. If the sun and the moon were in the firmament and we can't go outside the firmament, that would mean that people that were down here, it looks terrible because of this, but all of this land is supposed to be down here. That would mean people can fly up and go to the moon. But since it's in the firmament, well, it would make sense why they could never get to the moon because they can't get past the border of the firmament. Does that make sense? Use your hat art. Oh, I don't know if you're joking, Javier, but nah, that's hilarious. Yeah, my hat works, man, and it got the sun on it too. But yeah, that's the whole thing about with the firmament. We gonna move forward. Salagi, y'all. But God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, for seasons, and for days and for years." This is the first time we finally get days, years, and seasons. The seasons weren't around when it was just a bioluminescence, because the seasons have everything to do with the sun and the moon, right? When it gets colder, it has everything to do with winter. That's when it begins to snow. When it begins to snow and get colder, that's when the leaves begin to shed off of the trees. That's autumn, right? Or fall, right? So I hope y'all are walking with me. So these lights are in the firmament. It says, and let them be for signs. Oh, I'm tripping. And let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. Again, let them be in the firmament. Not let them be on earth, not let them be under the firmament, let them be in the firmament. It says, and God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser night to rule the night. He made the stars also. Now, you have fixed stars. So you have stars that are in the firmament that are just there, right? They're structured away. They have their little design, right? That's why people can, look at the constellation and, see the same pattern of stars. But you also have wandering stars, right? Which, people call planets, stars that move around. It's not the sun and it's not the moon. It's a star, but it's not fixed like everything else, right? I'm gonna show you. It's in the Greek. Oh, it's just planet. I'm gonna also show y'all because I had stumbled. The brother Kazak, he's out here. He had asked me about this, and it had made me look into it. And it's literally it shows that idolatry. Oh yeah, idolatry. Zodiac signs are idolatry, right? And it's something that is not new, right? Watch this. So this is Strong's G4107, right? And it's wandering, right? It's wandering stars, right? A rover or planet, figuratively, an erratic teacher wandering, right? Wandering stars. Right, and the whole thing is wandering, rovering, right? Well, that's the whole adjective. But watch this. When you go to 2 Kings 23, I've been waiting to talk. It's been years since me and him had talked about this, but I've been waiting to speak to somebody who is so strong in zodiac signs, right? But also believes in the Bible. 2 Kings 23 and 5. This is off topic, by the way. And he put down the idolatrous priests, whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places and in the cities of Judah, and in the places round about Jerusalem, them also that burned incense unto Baal, to the sun, to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven. Watch this. Of course, you have the sun, the moon, but the planets is H4208, which is constellation, signs of zodiac, maybe, right? In a sense of reigning, a constellation, i.e., zodiacal sign, perhaps affecting the weather, planet, right? Constellation, worship of the planets, right? Or the stars. That's where you also get the host of heaven. Well, that's talks about, right? Heaven, sky, right? As abode of the stars. Y'all get the point, right? But that's a little precept to and people who believe in zodiac signs. Okay, so we now have the the fourth day, right? So let's go over it again. First day, the chief creation, cutting and carving out the earth, and also that bioluminescence, which is the light, right? Which is usually in the water, but very rarely on earth, right? On earth, it's like fireflies, which I've never seen one of those in my life. Firefly, I don't think I have. Fireflies, and like things that glow. But underwater, it is something that is natural, right? It naturally happens. We can create glow sticks, which is basically the same thing, but it's usually naturally formed without men having to do anything underwater. Second day. Second day, we have the firmament, right? Dividing the waters that are above the heaven from below the heaven. Right now, again, at one point, there was no firmament, which means heaven and earth were connected, right? Which is all praises, right? The third day is where land begins to appear and vegetation is formed, right? So there's no animals around yet. It's just clearly vegetation. Now, mind you, these are all 1,000 years. So vegetation wasn't just like, boom, you feel me? Nah, that's not what it was. The reason why it says, and the earth brought forth grass, yielding herb, and yielding seed after his kind, and the yielding the tree who's, it's bringing forth over a span of 1,000 years, right? Which would, that's more than enough time for the whole earth to be given its vegetation, right? When I say whole earth, I don't mean every spot of land. I get what I'm talking about, right? So that's the third day. The fourth day is the sun, the moon, the stars. Now, if you're gonna ask me how they created it, hey man, you're gonna get blocked because I don't know. It don't say. It don't say that they done took this, and that material and then they created it. No, it just said they did it. right? All praises that they did. I just wish that, you know, they could have like pulled the sun back, you know, in Arizona a little bit, because it'd be hot as hell. You know, pull it back a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Give us some good weather. But hell, once I say y'all is fried chicken, fried. You know what I'm saying? So. Chicken fried. So that's the fourth day. Did I cover everything on the fourth day? Let me see. Oh no, I did not. Oh, that also proves that the moon, that's its own little light. You feel me? So this whole thing, it debunks the whole thing where the reason why the moon gets its light is because the sun goes behind it and it reflects the. And you're gonna have to prove to me that it's a sphere too. That's what you're gonna have to prove to me, that it's a sphere. Not saying that it's not, but you're gonna have to prove to me that the sun and the moon are spheres and not just a light. You feel me? Because I got a ring light right here. That ain't no damn sphere, but it's bringing forth light. But that proves that what was I gonna bring up? Oh, that the moon is its own light. But let's prove geocentrism, which is the earth is in the center and the sun and the moon revolve around it. That's why I was gonna read that Psalms 19 in the GNT. Let me find it. And if y'all like the video, then like the video, share the video, of course. Right now y'all got about like 15-20 seconds while I get all these precepts in order. Make sure that y'all like and share the video. Don't be a buster. GNT. What was the other one? Oh, Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes. Oh, it might be 8 in one. What? Did I? Oh, okay. Okay. Go back. Go back. Boom. Okay, smooth. So I got that. Let me make sure I go. I can't remember all the precepts. You know what I'm saying? I ain't rob y'all sock. I mean, he's still on here. I would thought Rob if he's still on here. Real OG. Oh, okay. So boom, boom. Okay, smooth. So Psalms 93:1. This is proving geocentrism, right? It says, the Lord reigneth. He is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also is established that it cannot be moved. It's established and it's not going to be moved. Does that mean it's not going to move at all? Well, I mean, you have verses that says that the earth was moved at the wrath of the Lord. So what does it mean? The earth is where it's at. I mean, that's going to stay. When it means that the earth is going to be moved at the wrath of the Lord, that means everybody on earth is going to feel it. You feel me? It ain't going to be no joke. First Chronicles 16 and 30. Yeah. It says, fear before him all the earth, the world also shall be stable, that it be not moved. But if we're revolving around the sun, we're moving. It's not stable. right? It's doing its thing, right? Let the earth be land, let the earth join, the man saying ancient, boom, right? So I'm pretty sure that there's more precepts, but it's gonna get repetitive. So y'all get the point, right? Now, let us prove that the sun moves around the earth. Right, watch this. Ecclesiastes 1 and 3 in the AMP. It says, what advantage does man have from all his work which he does under the sun, while earthbound? Right? So this is under the sun. Yes, the earth, the terrain is under the sun because you have the dome. Where the hell is my damn prop? Where my oh, I use the damn dumbass. I use this. You have the firmament. The sun is up here, right? The earth is down here. So yes, the sun is above the earth. Right? Verse 4, one generation goes and another generation comes. So speaking about one generation goes, right? They pass away, they die. Another one is brought into fruition, right? Another one is born. But the earth remains forever. The earth is always going to be here, right? The earth is established. It's not going to move. It's continually going to be here. Also, so as the generation goes and comes, it goes and comes, it goes and comes, it says also the sun rises and the sun sets and hurries to the place where it rises again. The sun is moving, the earth is not. The sun rises. It doesn't say the earth. I don't know how you would explain that. It doesn't. I'm not even going to try to explain it. It just says that the sun rises and the sun sets, and then it goes right back into that place. So if you have a big enough terrain and you move a light like this, it'll give light like how the sun gives us light, how we can have nighttime, right? So if you have, let me see if I can pull up a picture from like, okay, can you get out the way? Like from above. Let's see if I can find one. Okay. So I know this is a sphere. All right. Just walk with me. All right. I know this is a sphere, but let's just say that it's a hemisphere, but the flat is laid down. Bro, how the hell can I show this? I mean, yeah, you can use your hat. Let me grab a hat. Just so I can show y'all. Because we is visual but learners. I can use a bowl. Hold on. Let me use a bowl. Because a bowl will work. Feel me? Now, of course, the bowl is flat on the bottom. Now, I dare one of y'all make fun of my grandma bowl. Right, my grandmama gave me this. I think my grandma or mom. Right, so boom, you had this. Boom. You feel me? Oh, shit. So this is the terrain, right? This is where the earth is. If you have the sun up here, let's just say that it's completely round, all right? If it's big enough and the light is at the perfect, angle, how, of course, the Most High did, and it rotates around, it'll give light. It'll give light around the whole thing, but it also shed darkness, right? Because the light, of course, it's not like it shines everywhere. It has its limit, right? So it's the same thing when you have a flashlight, right? You have those really powerful flashlights and you shine it on a wall, it'll create a circle, but it stops at a certain point, right? It's the same thing with the sun. So if you have a big old wall and you have a flashlight and you go like this, you'll see there's a portion that gets light and then there's a portion that doesn't get light. But my flashlight is moving around like this, right? You don't have to like, so it's not like you're going like this. No, like you're moving your whole hand around and you'll see that makes sense. You feel me? Y'all get what I'm saying? I'm trying to explain it, you know, being me. Put one in the chat if y'all explain it. Or just say, come on. Or say, Taza Rock, I'm never listening to your videos again. I'm not going to cap. That'd be rude. Follow me on Instagram too. At Taza Rock. At Taza Rock. And Chief Dome. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Chief Dome on YouTube. Go follow Alizar on Instagram. He got some dope reels. Some fire reels. Good edification. All right. So, all praise. Boom. Let's go back to Ecclesiastes. Right. So then it begins to explain, you know, the wind. But we see here that the sun moves. The sun be moving around, but the earth don't. Right. The earth stay in its place. Oh. It's lucky. I was reading this one. Right. Now let's read Psalms. Right. Psalms 19:4 in the GNT. It says, yet their message. Okay, let's see. Each day is announced to the following day, each night repeats it. The words of speech are used, no sound is heard, yet the message. Okay. Start at 1, right? Psalms 19:1-6 in the GNT. It says, how clearly the sky reveals God's glory, how plainly it shows what he has done. Each day announces to the following day. Each day repeats, or each night repeats it to the next. No speech or words are used, no sound is heard, yet their message goes out to all the world and is heard to the ends of the earth. Their message is their light. Their message is their purpose, their course. Oh, my bad. Their course. It is heard throughout all the earth because it orbits around the earth, right? God made a home in the sky for the sun. In the firmament is where the home of the sun is. It said it comes out in the morning like a happy bridegroom, like an athlete eager to run a race, because it has its duty. It's moving, not the sun. It starts at one end of the sky and goes across to the other. Nothing can hide from its heat, right? That is the whole purpose, the message of the sun. Let's see what verse 7 speaks about. Okay, yeah, it is something different, right? So hopefully that helps y'all understand. Slightly. So let's go back to Genesis 1. All right, so Genesis 1. And boom. So that's the 4th day. All right, so we got the 4th day. Verse 20. It says, and God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth in the firmament of heaven. So now we begin to see beasts being created. Birds. Birds, you know, aquatic life, so on and so forth. And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind, and God saw that it was good. So let's take a look at this word for moving creature, right? The first word is GH. Tazarop, what the hell? H8318. And it speaks of teeming or swarming things, creepers, swarmers of insects, animals, small reptiles, quadrupeds. This is the little creatures, right? You see it says active mass of minute animals. Minute animals, minute animals. Creepy things, right? Moving creature, right? It's the small things, right? That was created when it says, let the waters bring forth the abundant moving creature that hath life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of the heaven, right? The small things and the fowls begin to be created. Verse 21, and God created great whales. I got a big fish, right? Of course, created means to create, shape, form, right? Select, dispatch, choose, create, cut down, so on and so forth. Right? Great whales and every living creature. Now, hold on. The first one, let me see, show y'all something. In verse 20, that word for creature is H8318. But this creature is H5315. Two different Hebrew words, because this one is the Strong's Napash, right? Which speaks about what? Soul, self, life, creature, person, appetite, mind, right? You see man, me, mind, mortal one, or mortally, person, soul, bodily or mentally, creature, breath, body, right? This is when man begin to be created, right? Which is on the 5th day. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the sea, and let the fowls multiply in the earth, right? Let everything be fruitful and multiply, right? Fill the waters which is in the sea. Now let's go to Second Edge 640. I didn't even read this. Well, it's pretty simple. 45, upon the 4th day thou commandest the sun should shine, and the moon give her light, and the stars should be in order, and gavest them charge to do service unto man that was to be made. Right. Upon the 5th day thou saidest unto the 7th part, where the waters were gathered, that it should bring forth living creatures, fowls and fishes. So it came to pass. For the dumb water and without life brought forth living things at the commandment of God, that all people might praise your wondrous works. Then didst you ordain 2 living creatures, the one thou callest Enoch, the other the Leviathan. That goes into the 6th day. But let's just stick on this one really quick. Let me go back. I hope y'all paying attention. Service man, the human break choose himself. The birds make their nest and strong. Okay. Darkness and night. Oh God. That's what I'm saying. Psalms 104 is a little bit more poetically written. So it's kind of hard to distinguish the days. That's fine. Because I can say that, but that's going to be confusing. So That's what it was. So let's go to this. Boom. Second address. 8. Boom. Right. It's not a coincidence. Like we born in water, right? Water breaks when we're born, or when the baby about to be due. Covered in water, covered in blood, so on and so forth, right? But second address is 8, and 8. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. We gonna get this all situated. What the hell? Oh, damn. Sorry, yo. Second. So, let's keep going. Second is 8 and 8. It says, "For when the body is fashioned now in the mother's womb, and you givest it members, your creature is preserved in fire and water." Who knows what the fire is? When it speaks about you're preserved in fire and in water. Who knows what the fire is? Let me know what the fire is. The spirit. Spirit. Right? It says, "Thy creature is preserved in fire and water, and in 9 months does thy workmanship endure thy creature, which is created in her. But that which keepeth and is kept shall both be preserved. And when the time cometh, the womb preserved delivereth up the things that grew in it." Right? So we're fashioned in water. So when it speaks about which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, whew. Right? So okay, boom. So those are both day, the third day, second day, fourth day, and the fifth day are pretty simple, right? But the whole concept of this being 7 literal days, it's not 7 literal days, right? It'll literally confuse everything, especially when we read something like second Esdras. Second Esdras 14 and 10. It says, "For the world has lost his youth, and the times begin to wax old. For the world is divided into 12 parts, and the 10th parts of it are gone already, and half of a 10th part. So it speaks about the earth is in 12 parts, and 10 parts of it are gone already in Ezra's time, right? And it says, and half a 10th part, so 10 and a half, right? I mean, not 10 and a half. The 10th part. Oh, it's locked down. Salakia. So if the earth is in 12 parts and the earth was created in 7 days, 7 literal days, they would have to prove how 12,000 years ago, that's when we begin to rule on earth, right? 12,000 years ago. We don't believe that, right? It took 7,000 years for everything to be finished, from the time of the carving out all the way until the time of making man in his image, men beginning to rule, right? And that rest, meaning he's done with creating things. At the 7,000th years when we were done, right? 6,000 years when we begin to reign on earth, right? We're going to get that in a second. So watch. Right? Genesis 1, and because we already got that's the wrong time bomb. Okay, let's move to the 6th day. All right, watch this. So boom. So Genesis 1 and 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. Right. So this is when we begin to rule as having dominion, right? My bad. I should have read verse 26. I'm tripping. And God said, let us make man in our own in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish and over the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creepy thing that creepeth upon the earth. Right. So this is the 5th day. Boom. 6th day begins here. Right. So it says, and God saw that it was good. Right. Like, well done. All right. Let's take a look at that real quick. Right. Good, pleasant, agreeable. Right. Fair, favor, line, glad. Right. So everything cool. Right. So boom. And God said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creepy thing that creepeth upon the earth. Being made in the image here, let us make man in our image, shows you that this is plural. This is the Elohim. This is Christ and the angels. Is them on a higher level of thinking. Right now they have the dominion. They're not like beasts anymore. Right. It's to where now it's like, watch. Right. 2nd Esdras 3 and 4 it says, O Lord, who bears rule, who spakest in the beginning when thou didst plant the earth, and that thou thyself alone and commandest the people. Right. Again, everything is attributed to Yahweh. It says, and gavest a body unto Adam without a soul. Adam had a body, but he didn't have a soul. It says, which was the workmanship of your hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before you. Right? What does this mean? This this is the time. Oh my bad, I can't see. This is the time where um men and women were created, but we didn't have the soul, right? We weren't on a higher level of thinking, right? Because when we say let us make man in our own image, right? Likeness or resemblance, henceforth, it can mean an idol, right? But you're resembling something, right? In our likeness, right? Fashion, manner, similitude, model, right? You're shaped in the same way. Watch this. Let's go to Genesis 2. Oh, I'm tripping. Hold on. What verse am I? Oh, so it's Genesis 2. I skipped over it. Boom. Genesis 2 and 7. It says, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. We're going to get into this the next time we go into Genesis. And breathe into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became living soul. Watch this. His word for soul, right? It goes back to Napash. But that wasn't even the word I was looking for. My group had life, right? Living, alive, revived, right? Raw, running, springing, merry, multitude, beast. So him being breathed, the breath of life, and he became a living soul is when he became, I don't like the word higher or the words higher consciousness. I don't like that word, but we will utilize it. Right? He was more knowledgeable than what he was on the first day. Right? So where was I at? Right? So this is us beginning to have dominion, like it says in verse 28, and have dominion over the fish, over the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. We begin to have dominion the 6,000 year, right? So around, is it 5,000 to 6,000? From 6,000 to 7,000 BC is when we begin to rule on earth, right? 5,000 to 6,000 BC is when we begin to be created and fruitful and multiply, right? We grow abundantly, right? But 6 to 7,000 BC is when we begin to rule, right? So, right, verse 29, and God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree which is in the fruit of the tree of what the hell? In the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat, right? So now we begin to get order, right? Structure. I'm giving you this herb. This is the reason for you having this herb. It says, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the earth, the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he made, and behold, it was good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Boom. We got the 6,000 years of creation, right? Order and instruction, right? And then, of course, Genesis 2, it says, and on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all the work in which he had made, right? It says, thus the heavens and the earth were finished and all the host of them. Right, now watch this. This word for "and God rested" is cease, desist, rest, right? Cease and desist. No, to rest, to put away, to put down, to cease, right? He's done. He's done, right? He's done with his work, right? So everybody understand? You know, maybe you're not capable of explaining it yet, because of course you got to go over, you got to practice it. Of course, if you guys have my Instagram, I want to let y'all know, if y'all have Instagram, if y'all have my Instagram, y'all be able to like personally ask me, hey man, can you re-explain this? You feel me? Even in getting on calls and stuff like that, y'all able to plus I got some cool reels and videos. Oh yeah, I can't see. Y'all be able to ask me questions and get more of an understanding on Genesis 1, right? Because commenting on YouTube videos, I respond a little bit slower than just than on Instagram and stuff like that. But everybody get it so far? Genesis, the first chapter, right? Is there any confusion on Genesis 1? All praises. So since there's no questions, right? Of course, go to Sicarii or Tazarab Sicarii on YouTube, right? Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Of course, follow me on Instagram, and continue to watch this because more camp videos are going to be released. Right. So with that, I hope that y'all enjoyed it. Right. Of course, right. We just dealing with Genesis 1. Right. This is all that we dealing with is Genesis 1. Boom, just like that, right? So make sure that y'all Shalom, repenting young Seba. You're gonna have to go back and rewatch the whole thing because you missed it, right? But of course, the water. I hope that y'all got great edification and understanding in Genesis 1, right? And of what's going on, right? So I have a thumb, Yashara, right? Stay prepared for Genesis 2. We're going to be going over Genesis 2 as promised. Lord willing, Lord willing, Lord willing. Of course, Tuesday, I think I'm going to go back to the stones that speak. So we're going to get an archaeological presentation on Tuesday, right? So make sure that y'all wait for that, right? And get ready for Passover, right? Go to Atlanta for Passover. I hope to see all of y'all. If y'all see me, you know, I don't really know what y'all look like, but if y'all see me, Baba Kushah greet me and say, listen, I'll be on your lives. Listen, I appreciate you and have a good conversation with you. Right? Make sure that y'all go to that SICARRI Passover in Atlanta, right? A Havathon, right? So with that, I want to say, Yahweh Shem Yashar Barakathon to Yahshua, right? And of course, call all Yahweh Shem Mashiach Yahshua. That's all praise to Most High in the name of His only begotten Son, who the word instantly calls Jesus Christ. Call me Yahshua, and y'all stay safe out here.